for rugby league. This wonderful summer of Super League continues, and what a match we have here for a Thursday night. The Saints against Warrington. Just waiting for the youngsters in the corner who were the flag bearers tonight just to clear the field so that we can get this game underway. Won't be too long before they exit stage right. And you just get the feeling that Saints would kick towards Tommy Lydham in that corner. And Boots, we used to call him St. Bernard one of these days, didn't we? Boots is ushering them away. So here we go. Saints get the game underway. That's a great kickoff, hanging everywhere, and picked up eventually on the bounce by Mike Cooper. Named in the England squad this week, the England elite training squad, left out of the World Cup last year, and his prop forward colleague Chris Hill likewise.
An early breakdown in communication. There are lots of fans behind those sticks will have enjoyed that, but the start of this game is important to both sides. That goes without saying, but both of these teams, they like to play the game quick. The tempo, the pace and the ferocity is what I'm looking forward to most.
Here's Mike Cooper again, taking it in. Second drive in the opening set of 6. Last one here for Warrington. Tyrone Roberts with the kicking responsibilities. Looks like Warrington might be playing with the wind at their backs in this first half, because the kickoff from Saints held in the breeze. That one shot away.
And they kicked the ball to Regan Grace. The sun was in his eyes. You see that he looked up, then all of a sudden he just had to pull away from that. Right, wasn't taking any chances. Didn't want to make a mistake early on in the game.
7-tackle restart though, of course, for St Helens, because that ball bounced over the dead ball line from the boot of Tyrone Roberts, who's in the tackling with Jack Hughes. And John Wilkin got the ball away to Luke Thompson. Look at the leg drive from him as he backs his way over the halfway line and towards the Warrington end of the field. It's Roby again at dummy half. Here now is Lomax. Lomax drops the pass off to Zeb Taylor. Missed the derby at Wigan last week, did Zeb Taylor. Roby into centre field to Luke Thompson. Wilkin then spreads it wide to Richardson. He finds Ben Barber. Ben Barber with the first threat of danger against this Warrington defence, halted by Bryson Goodwin and Kevin Brown. Now it's Richardson again, and he finds Wilkin into centre field to Thompson. Bounces off the chest of Thompson. It's a free play this, so it can play on until the tackle comes, or if they get over the advantage line as they do now, it will be called a zero tackle by referee James Childs.
Well, that's the danger of John Wilkin looking to pick out Luke Thompson with the face pass. He can throw one of those passes, and that right at the line attracts defenders. He just can't take it, the big lad.
Oh, and Darrell Clark now has gone without it, so teams sharing possession here, but not in the way that they would hope. This is Mark Percival then, and that's the zero tackle now for St Helens. They are 30 metres away from the Warrington line. Roby gives it to Kyle Amor. He gets the bumpers up and goes straight into the chest of Amor. Hill is there, and so too Westwood to bring him down. 10 metres made though. That's a penalty. Could have been. Chris Hill lying all over the top of Amor as he got back to his feet. Thompson takes the ball forward. That maybe is a good sign from James Child. He's not going to blow for everything that is questionable. Let's have a good fast open game tonight. This is Richardson. Gets the ball away to Zeb Tay. 5 metres away from the line. It's with Amor, and oh, that's off the knees of Wilkin. No, it isn't. It's off his fingertips as well.
Loose start from both sides. John Wilkin, latest player to make us a mistake, a basic mistake. We're talking about the accuracy of the work done by James Roby from dummy half. By rights, that should be Kyle Amor. He's turning round. Some questions asked. The atmosphere, having been down at pitch level, very loud.
You know, we've had 1,000 tries in Super League this season. We've had some really spectacular ones, but I get a sense tonight with the interest from both these teams that to score it will take something special. St Helens' defence in the month of July has been outstanding. If you watched last week, you see how hard it is to break them down and score against them. Conceded just 30 points in 3 matches. They are a tough team to score against, and Warrington will have to find something special if they want to get across the try line.
3 handling errors shared between the two sides in the opening 4 minutes.
Arms around, Ben.
And James Child not happy with the way that scrum was formed by the looks of things.
Yeah, he wasn't ready for the ball to go in, so he just wanted it refed.
Well, they fed it now, and here comes Ratchford. Again, I mentioned if Warrington win here tonight and Wigan slip up tomorrow, well, they could be second in the table. They could actually go fourth at the end of round 23. They're third right now, ahead of Castleford on points difference. Castleford face bottom of the table, Widnes on Sunday. So if Warrington lose here, they could end up fourth after the 23 weekly rounds.
But you look at Warrington, Eddie, don't fancy themselves. They've only got one loss in the last 5, and that was a last-minute drop goal at Wigan. So
probably penalty to Warrington.
Probably a couple of mistakes that have gone against them with the kick that went out, and then all of a sudden they get the penalty that goes in their favour. Luke Thompson all over Chris Hill. Was it James Roby, a little push?
I think Chris Hill got the benefit of the doubt there, Stuart.
Well, Robbie had his hand on him, and that's the way the referee's going to go. If the mistake is due to interference, they'll get the penalty.
OK, well, Warrington won't be arguing because they're now camped 20 metres away from the Saints line. Here comes Harvey Livett, named in the England Knights squad this week. There's been some work done by the selectors. This is Tyrone Roberts. Gets away from Roby, gets away from Zebtea. Lomax it is rather, who comes in back for a second effort. That's Jack Hughes. Short ball then to Westwood, and Ben Westwood straining every sinew. And Saints straining their sinews to keep him this side of that piece of whitewash. Hughes to Roberts. It's now with Brown. Brown gives it width and untidily finds Lynham, who's strong. Gets the ball away to Bryson Goodwin. Good hit by Kyle Amor. Clark. Again, wayward passing. Stabbed forward by Hughes. Picked up by Ben Barber.
Eddie, I get the impression whichever team, I know we've only had 6 minutes, but both teams have misfired in several different ways. Whichever team focuses on the detail of their game plan. You heard both coaches in the build-up saying we're just going to treat it as a normal game. Well, the game before a big game, i.e. the semi-final that's looming for both sides, you need to be disciplined, you need to focus on those little 1%ers.
Let's get down to Bill for the first time tonight on the sideline.
Eddie, Steve Price, the Warrington coach, getting a very close view of the action. We normally see the coaches sitting up at the back of the stand, but Steve Price is right down in the technical area beside the pitch. He really couldn't get much closer to the field if he stepped over the whitewash. So he's getting a first-hand view of how his side are doing, including 37-year-old Benny Westwood out there once again, still going strong, and might be going strong for a little while longer, I understand. Maybe another year. Nothing confirmed, but that's the rumour. He's ready to go for another 500.
I'm sure he is. Doesn't seem to age at all, does he? Ben Westwood. Another untidy play the ball. Here is Darrell Clark now. Amor to him first. And Clark will play the ball here to Mike Cooper. Roberts gets it away behind Hughes and finds Roberts. And, well, that's a great tackle on Toby King. Roberts now with a bit of time. Hoists the kick. Barber's after it. Barber claims it. Toby King claims him.
Still, when both sides are shifting this ball, it's still not quite right. The passes aren't crisp enough, whether the player's lunging to the floor. And speaking of lunges, there's a high tackle from Chris Hill. Hits Regan Grace. We all know the skills that Regan Grace got, the balance that he possesses. He accelerates into contact. And Chris Hill just hits him high.
Chris Hill saying that Regan Grace was ducking, but he still has the responsibility to stay away from the head if he possibly can. Hence the penalty to St Helens. Those 11 straight Super League wins behind them in 2008. They won 16 in a row in Super League, 21 in a row if you include the cup ties. Yet they failed to win the grand final that year. They lost to Leeds at Old Trafford. It was their first defeat for 6 months. Thompson is dropped to the ground by Westwood and Cooper. Roby. Wilkin gets the pass away. Amor. And there seems to be a problem here for Kyle Amor.
Ben Westwood is the last man into that collision. And whilst Kyle Amor is on his way down, he just catches the knee of Ben Westwood. Completely accidental.
Have to have a close look at Amor now. You notice that Ben Westwood isn't even rubbing the knee.
Tough as granite, isn't he? Look at that knobbly knee
I'll tell you where, mate.
he's got. You know what, he's been great this year, hasn't he? Big, powerful player.
Only missed the one game, that was last week at Hull Kingston Rovers.
You know, he inspires all the younger players around him as well, thinking if he can do it, well, so can we.
He got his first ever try for Warrington 13 years ago in a 30-31 defeat, one of those defeats at Nosey Road. Here is Roby. Meanwhile, that's Wilkin getting away from Cooper.
Obstruction.
But it's an obstruction called on the field.
You run behind. That's 3 times you've done. You run behind your own teammate in close possession. Obstruction.
Well, you can see he's going through Kyle Aymore. He's going to be that lead runner. Little short support players that sails through. Nice little tip-ons that if you've seen him over the years, and he runs into the player. You can see there he runs straight into Jack Hughes, takes him out. That's what the penalty's given him.
That's it. His actions have made sure that Jack Hughes can't make the tackle.
This is Toby King to his feet. We'll play it to Hughes. This now is Roberts. He finds Hill. Chris Hill goes down. Playing prop tonight for the 4th game in a row as Brown finds Roberts. Here is Harvey Livett. It's been a remarkable few months for Harvey Livett. Since the luckless Ben Curry was injured, he's fitted like a glove into this Warrington side. Here is Chris Hill. Ben Curry, though, named in the England elite squad as well. That ball went backwards. This is Kevin Brown trying to dodge his way through the line. Gets the ball away to Cooper. And Cooper trying to get through 2 big men there. Gets the ball away to Clark. It's the first try. It's the first try for Warrington from Darrell Clark. The referee hasn't given it yet. He's going to hand this upstairs to Phil Bentham.
We're just checking whether there's a knock-on by the Acton half-back.
So there's a possible knock-on at the play the ball. That's a good way away from where Clark scored what he believes is the opening try. Stuart, it's over to you and Phil Bentham.
Yeah, it's just after the ball came back into play. Warrington didn't have a half-back in place. And I think you see Darrell, the ball is passed through his legs. I think it's Ben Westwood that gets himself in there. And so the ball's gone back. I think there's a shout initially. There it is. There's no acting half-back there. So Johnny Lomax is entitled to come round, but he just throws the ball between his legs. It's picked up cleanly from there. And I think we'll just go straight through to the grounding now to see whether the ball's grounded correctly. There's certainly no knock on there. No reason for the try decision to be overruled. Possibly just check to see how this ball comes out of the tackle here. But again, goes backwards, picked up cleanly, grounded correctly.
Darrell Clark is going to be given this try, I think. And we have said from minute 1 when we came on air tonight that the battle between Clark and Roby would be the big battle tonight. Well, it's first round to Darrell Clark. He gets his 5th try of the season. Back to his best this year, the 2014 Man of Steel.
Big pat on the back to Ben Westwood, recognising that there's no hooker. And also, Darrell Clark knows that as soon as he passes that ball, he's got to get up, push up in support. And doesn't he do a decent job here? Cooper gets rid of the ball in some heavy traffic. And Darrell Clark, the 2014 Man of Steel. We all turned up here looking forward to the battle between him and James Roby. Well, so far it's 1-0 to Darrell Clark and his team. Great offload.
You're right to highlight the battle of the hookers, but I want to draw your attention to the battle that Luke Thompson and Mike Cooper are having. Mike Cooper shrugs off Luke Thompson in the opening couple of minutes. We've seen those 2 players clash, and we'll watch the battle and the contest unfold, Eddie.
Tyrone Roberts then to add the extras, give Warrington a 6-point lead in the 12th minute of this match. That's exactly what he does. Tyrone Roberts will be replaced by Canberra's Blake Austin next year.
I think what we've seen so far this game is quick thinking from Kevin Brown to hold the defenders in. And then Mike Cooper, who was outstanding last week at Hull Kingston Rovers, he had a brilliant combination of his runs, his tackles and his offloads. And that urge to offload the ball there to support alongside has given them the 6-point lead.
Delight for Steve Price, the Warrington coach. He celebrated the try with the supporters there. And Tyrone Roberts, well, that's 11 goals now this season for him, and he's only been kicking for 2 games and 12.5 minutes. He's taken on the role of goal kicker, the back end of his Warrington career.
You wonder if he kicked from the start, Eddie, whether they would have won any more games and been a bit closer to that pole position, but I suppose we'll never know.
Chris Hill plays the ball to Clark. This is Jack Hughes. Percival and Zebtaya close him down. Here again is Cooper.
There you go again. He gives him the hit and spin, Mike Cooper. He's got a lot more tools in his tool bag as Mike Cooper. He's got that offload, he's got that footwork, that hit and spin. And again, it's a fascinating contest.
High kick into the setting sun, and that corner that Regan Grace has to deal with in the first half. Here goes Lomax now.
Thought he spotted some space on the short side then. There's Regan Grace again going straight up the guts.
49th consecutive appearance for Regan Grace. He hasn't scored though in the last 3. Good offload, finds Lomax. Warrington, 2 players there. Don't think that the ball had been released. They got hold of Makinson, but the ball was 15 metres further downfield. Here is Barber, gets it to Percival. Percival cuts inside Roberts. Over the top it goes to Zebtaya, and Zebtaya for the line, but well cut down by Kevin Brown. Try saver from Brown. Here is Roby. Roby to Wilkin. Richardson finds Barber. Good defence from Tom Lynham.
That was a great read from Tom Lynham. He was exposed then. Ben Barber, he catches that ball. He's got 2 men outside him on the right-hand side. And the way that Warrington got back to prevent Saints from scoring when it looked all on that when Zebtaya got the ball, he was heading towards the sticks and Kevin Brown came along. Well, this Warrington side, they got consistency in the key positions, and they certainly are turning up to play with the right attitude.
You spotted it though, Eddie. Over on Saints' left side, Tommy Makinson, he gets the offload away, but Ben Westwood, and more importantly the centre, Toby King, still involved, and that's where the space was that led to that break from Saints.
Here come the Warrington Wolves again in the shape of Clark. Well, that's got to be a penalty because Zebtaya was in the ruck, but it's a cheap penalty.
Offside.
Very cheap penalty. He almost played it into the body of Zebtaya.
He knew exactly what he was doing then, Darrell Clark, when he stood up, repositioned the ball and then flicked it back to where that man was behind the ruck. Have a little look, you can see.
Isn't the game better to watch when you get offloads? Both teams have kept the ball alive, and I think the game flows more. There's more unpredictability, uncertainty in every player when they keep it alive.
Here come Warrington again then with Westwood. Leading 6-0 at the home of the league leaders, who are 10 points clear. Hill finds Brown. Brown finds Goodwin. That's a great tackle by Ryan Morgan. 11 metres away. Hill will trundle it forward once again. Roby doing well, doing the job that he's done for so many years for St Helens. Here goes Clark again. Clark loses the ball. It's picked up by Richardson. He then gives it to Makinson.
It's good defence from Saints. I think it's Ben Barber who gets in, dislodges the ball. And the scrum half gleefully, gladly picks it up, Danny Richardson.
Well, people have questioned Barber's defence. There have been times of the year when they've conceded tries to St Helens, and his attempt at resistance hasn't been of the highest standard. But I think Darrell Clark maybe backed the wrong man there, didn't he? There was a lot of determination and drive from Ben Barber when he hit the hooker, the opposite hooker. He wasn't going to score a second.
What's the feeling generally about Ben Barber? Is he going to be here next year for St Helens, do you think? You three are involved in all the rumours in the game.
Well, the rumours are he won't be, and it'll be a sad loss to our game.
And yet one of the new signings for St Helens this week, for next year, quoted as saying he's looking forward to playing with him in 2019.
I guess we'll wait and see, but for me, the great signs were there last week when he didn't play Ben Barber. Johnny Lomax dropped into full-back, a position he's very much accustomed to, and Saints looked like it was normal service. Still a good side. And for me again, sorry Eddie, for me again, James Roby, I know the lads were talking about it in the preview to the match. Ben Barber was the early front runner for Man of Steel, but James Roby, each and every week, 8.5, 9 out of 10 performances.
Well, of course, it is Man of Steel, end of the season. We're reaching that stage of the campaign. It is the players who have the vote for Man of Steel.
Looked a bit of a scrappy end to that set, really, then, from Saints. So sure Justin Holbrook won't really like a bit more pressure on the Saints when they were looking to kick that ball. But again, some valuable meters, Warrington.
There's Brown, and Westwood takes it forward again. Clark and Brown finds Ratchford, quick hands, good hands too. Bryson Goodwin bursts through. He's got Harvey Levett in support, and it's a try-saver. It's a try-saver for Barber, but he might be injured. Here is Roberts. Roberts gets it away to Jack Hughes. Hughes flings the ball back, picked up by Toby King. Roby's after him, can't get the ball away. Here is Hill. Hill goes wide, brilliantly stopped in the air by Charnley. Kept alive here to Brown. Brown keeps it alive again, lost ground, but it's Roberts with the boot. And was he offside? Were the Warrington players all offside then?
Ahmed, you ready? I thought he was then.
There's work to do here for Tommy Makinson. What a great run. What a great run from Makinson.
Great rugby on both sides. Oh, he's got the ball. Play on.
Yes, it is play on. It's Clark. Clark for the line for his second try, held up.
Oh, what a frantic passage of play there. Warrington offloading the ball at will, looking for that try line. This great run to get back in the field of play from Tommy Makinson. Gets up looking for a quick play of the ball for one of his teammates. Nobody there. And good vision from Chris Hill, the prop forward.
And more importantly for St Helens, Ben Barber is limping. He's picked up a knocker, a bump somehow, somewhere. A couple of times when the action is away, his team has the ball, he's on his haunches.
There's Clark, finds Brown, Brown to Roberts, Roberts gets it away to Hughes. That's solid defence from Percival, and Lomax low down. That's 4 tackles gone. Saints looking to weather this storm. It's with Roberts, now it's with Cooper, and Cooper this time cannot get the ball away. Down he goes, tackle number 5 metres away from the St Helens line. Clark, Roberts looking to prize them open, finds Ratchford. Solid goal line defence from St Helens again.
Yeah, excellent. Ben Barber applauding his teammates, saying, yeah, we've been under pressure the last couple of sets, we made a mistake and we've held them out. When you look at the job that Tyrone Roberts is doing, he's enticing those Saints defenders, he's holding up the passes and he's hoping to pull one of them out the line and make the wrong mistake, but so far they're doing a decent job.
Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook's out there. This is Roby, who gets the ball away to Dominic Peyrou. And interested spectator alongside Eamon McManus on the right of the screen there is Fran Cotton, the former England and British Lions rugby union legend. And, well, interestingly, Fran Cotton, who is leading the appeals there for something for Saints, his dad, Dave Cotton, played for both Saints Helens and Warrington in the 30s and the 40s. He played in St Helens' first championship winning side in 32 and Warrington's championship winning side in 48. So a very interested spectator.
But I know he would like this element of the game. John Wilkin comes out, he gets that tackle completely wrong. But Warrington, I think the seesaw has just swung the other way. It's just gone back in favour of Warrington. They've defended strong, they're asking some questions. It's not perfect, but when you play against the top of the league, you need to do something different. And John Wilkin gets up quick on Ben Westwood.
Oh, look at that, that's good to see.
It's always nice to see,
two old stagers. They've been there, they've seen it, they've done it all. And just an apology from Wilkin and accepted by Ben Westwood.
Yeah. And that is a sign of toughness. Sometimes it's about what you can take and carry on.
It's a penalty, contact with the head. I'm going to speak to him as well. Ben! Ben!
Well, the referee wants a word with both. He's spoken to John Wilkin, given his reasons.
Well, look, you've heard the whistle. I've got the penalty. Don't throw the ball back at him and don't get involved. All right?
Just calming it down. James Child.
Yeah, I think when he throws that ball up in the air, he wasn't like launching it into him. He was more or less saying, well, thanks for that.
He gives it and he takes it, Ben Westwood.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
That's the ultimate sign of toughness.
And that's what I said before. He's one of those players that leads by example. Like, players will look at him and people talk about the age of him. Well, he leads by example week in, week out. Age is just a number for Ben Westwood.
Well, we were at a sports forum with him, weren't we, a couple of years ago, and he said he had no intentions of retiring then, and people were about to put him out to grass.
Yeah, he actually said, well, people are daft enough to pay me, I'll just keep on turning out.
Actually, thinking about it,
he's a good character, isn't he?
He's a great character. And that could be your adage.
Yeah, it could be, Barry.
OK, Tyrone Roberts is going to have a shot at goal here, 40 metres out, with the wind behind him, so it's within range. 5 goals and a try at Hull KR last week for Tyrone Roberts, and 2 goals here tonight for Tyrone Roberts already, and Warrington lead 8-0.
You'll take those points over. That again is a mark of respect for Saints' defence. They've been down defending in their own half, probably 20 metres, 30 metres from the line. They couldn't be broken the way that Warrington were throwing absolutely everything at them, but Saints kept coming up with those big plays in defence.
Well, Warrington in pretty good form. They've lost just 1 of their last 5. It was the 13-12 thriller at Wigan, but they were also held to a draw by the Catalan Dragons. But last week's 34-20 win at Hull KR meant they scored 30 points for 10 of their last 15 matches in Super League. So although Steve Price loves them to defend, they also
Looking for that quick play of the ball. There's the man.
And again, that comes off the hard work of Mike Cooper.
This is Jack Hughes. Great ball to Toby King. He then finds Charnley. Charnley gets away from Percival, steps over a couple, gets away from Wilkin. Won't get past Luke Thompson on that occasion, though, or McCarthy Scarsbrook.
Good speed and strength from Josh Charnley then.
Last one. The set. Roberts with a high kick to the right-hand side. And as it turns out, not a bad decision by Regan Grace not to go for that, because Toby King just knocked it forward.
Well, Josh Charnley played the ball in the middle of the field. They've kicked to his side. Toby King's the man who's asked to jump above Regan Grace. Unfortunately, just can't take the ball in.
Well, St Helens' biggest problem is that they couldn't stop Warrington from going 80 metres in those 5 players and then putting an attacking dangerous kick into the corner. Just look at the difference here. Rugby, either league or union, with Frank Cotton watching, you've got to go forward in possession, and Warrington are doing it far better than the Saints. Well, I'm looking with Lou McCarthy Scarsbrook still in the centre.
Well, we have a masterclass, a rugby league masterclass, with Jermaine McGilvray following us on Sky Sports Arena tonight at 10 o'clock when we're finished here, as Saints cough the ball up again. It's another one of the series of masterclasses from rugby league. They're all available on demand, by the way. But Sky Sports Arena, 10 o'clock tonight, with Jermaine McGilvray. Charnley holds on as he goes down. The play to Roberts. Hughes.
And Warrington bring
Joe Philbin's on.
I was going to say that they're making the most of this momentum. They made a forced error defensively. They got up quick in Saints' face, got the ball back, and the majority of this match has been played on our right.
Philbin again. And this is Brown. Puts the ball away. It looked forward from up here, but not at ground level. Hill again. It's with Brown. Stabs the kick towards the in-goal area. Barber is there, and Barber just flings the ball over the dead ball line.
They're under a lot of pressure here, aren't they, Saints, in this game, especially the last 15 minutes. Good kick from Kevin Brown, goes at the line, pulls the defenders up. Ben Barber at the back, not taking any chances, knowing that the Warrington players are coming in for him.
He's limping a bit, is Ben Barber. He's missed 2 of the last 3. And he is Super League's top try scorer. They'll want him for next week, definitely.
Well, a lot of teams look at where the action's played. Warrington have had 5 times as many play the ball inside the opposition 20-metre zone, close to the St Helens try line. And in games like this, maybe at times you have to take your chances. This sort of field position, this dominance, won't last for the next 60 minutes.
Not a bad goal line dropout from Richardson with the wind in his face. Here comes Akuola. He's a big thing to try and put down. Wilkin succeeds.
Just launches himself.
Oh, how many times have we seen that tonight?
Well, that's the second time, 1 each now. Akuola does his job, lands on his front, quick play the ball, nobody's there. Just push up with your forwards when they're leading. Look, John Wilkin in an onside position, every right to pick that ball up, same as Chris Hill before.
Do you know, you might watch 20 games without seeing one and seeing two within the space of 5 minutes.
And when you do see it, sometimes they are penalised because they're not standing square, they come round the side. Nothing wrong with the ones we've seen tonight. Gifts to the opposition. This is Morgan Knowles. He's had an impressive year as well. Growing in influence in the Saints team week by week is young Morgan. Here's a high kick now for Ratchford to deal with, and he does. Goes to ground pretty quickly. Ryan Morgan appeared to be impeded then by a Warrington player.
Plays with a lot of confidence, doesn't he, Stephen Ratchford at the bat, and you know if you're in front and that ball goes up, he's going to go for it. Another player who's been, I think, been one of the standouts this year for Warrington, Bryson Goodwin, who's playing the ball. Well, it's a good contest, this, isn't it? Yeah, there was some nerves in the opening 5 or 10 minutes, but they're certainly getting stuck into each other.
Away goes Darrell Clark again, halted by his opposite number, with a bit of help from Peyroux. It's Roberts, just inside his own half of the field, gets the kick away. Barber looked like he was coming for that, in the end left it to Makinson. Maybe that's a sign that he's not 100%.
So you look down at the back three for Saints, who'd you kick the ball to? Well, Tommy Makinson was explosive last week, made 234 metres against Wigan. Tremendous the way that he brings the ball forward, really does help the players around him.
And we talk about them, those big games on the horizon for both of these two teams. At what point will that come to the thinking of these two coaches? They have, of course, Theo Fage on the bench. Do they look at Ben Barber and think, you know, we're just going to wrap you in cotton wool this week? That's an obstruction surrender rather than an injury. At what point do they make that change and think, you know, next week is a bigger game for us at this point?
Stephen Ratchford heard McCarthy Scarsbrook coming for him, but he got away from him. Douglas got to him the second time, trying desperately to get out of the way. Lynham.
Just looks to beat a defender, doesn't panic again. Look at the tackles that Saints have made. Saints have made 149 tackles to Warrington's 93. That shows that all the ball has been in the Warrington's hands. All the defence has been in a red and white jersey. Been difficult. They need to really address that.
And they hold that run from Chris Hill. Took a bit of a bang on the head by the looks. Kick though finds touch down this right-hand side. Certainly concentrating on Regan Grace-Mark Percival combination.
I don't think you would intentionally kick the ball over to St Helens' right side. Tommy Makinson, when he returns that ball, he's got that strong fend, always beats the first defender. It's perhaps not a weakness that Regan Grace is being the area that they're going. It's perhaps just the way that they want to defend that next set. Warrington have the opinion that we need to control that aspect, how we hand the ball over, and Regan Grace is going to be the person we want to start that set of 6 off.
Maybe, I mean, look at that as well. Maybe because they have had all the possession and Saints have been doing all the defending. And maybe I'm with you, Eddie, that it was strange once to kick the ball off the field then. Maybe keep the pressure on. But here goes Mark Percival.
Great run, wonderful run, and he's found Ryan Morgan, and Livett finds him. What a great run from Percival, which sets this attack up. As Peyroux takes it forward.
Another player that's been outstanding, hasn't he, Mark Percival, this year.
Here's Morgan Knowles, McCarthy Scarsbrook. Roby again, finds Lomax, he finds Wilkin. And a high shot on Wilkin.
Well, this is an opportunity now. We've not started the set. The Saints fans are happy, a penalty goes their way. But Danny Richardson and Mark Percival, when St Helens won at Warrington in March, combined 3 times to set up tries, and Roby's off.
Roby is off, and he gets over the line, but he can't get the ball down.
He goes, Eddie. Stephen Ratchford's on the floor, and he's getting help by the physio or the doctor. And now there's another player down in back there.
Jack Hughes, isn't it? Well, the St Helens fans believe that this is biding for some time.
And he takes a quick tap, knowing that Stephen Ratchford's receiving some treatment. Just held up, good defence from Warrington. Jack Hughes doing a decent job to hold him up.
Well, Hughes is okay, and I think Ratchford is okay. Time's back on, and Barber's the dummy half. Knowles, Luke Douglas. Only 2 tackles gone. They're 3 metres away. Hands in at the play the ball. Penalty to St Helens. 8-0 down though. They're going to run this. They feel they've got Warrington on the rack. Douglas. Roby fires the pass to Richardson. He finds Lomax. Barber. Here goes Percival again. Percival gets so close. Trying to fight for his feet. Gets there. Oh, now then. There's a hand in there.
Interference. In the way.
Warrington got in the way of that pass then. They needed to disrupt.
And it's the push of Hughes, isn't it, on the man who played the ball?
And just over the left shoulder of the referee, all the Warrington defenders trying to get up, trying to shut that play. They've had 10 minutes looking at the line of St Helens.
3 penalties on the run for the Saints. McCarthy Scarsbrook again. Roby at the heart of it as normal. Now it's Lomax. Lomax is halted by Joe Philbin. Sitaleki Akuola. McCarthy Scarsbrook. The tackle by Clark, helped out by Levette. Roby, short ball. Chance for Morgan Knowles. Richardson. Barber. King got to him, but he got the ball away to Percival. Percival, long strides, now straightens it. Very good tackle needed by Levette. Roby.
Stand up, play the ball.
It's a penalty to Warrington. Incorrect play the ball.
Well, Mark Percival, every time he gets the ball, he makes his own space. So quick, you can see he's not regained his feet, says the referee, James Child. And then when he gets under a bit of pressure, there's a little push from Harvey Levette. That penalty could have gone either way then.
Well, he's on his left knee and he's on his right hand. He's got to stand up with nothing else on the ground but his feet.
He was desperate to get a quick play of the ball, wasn't he? Because St Helens are being kept scoreless here in the opening 33 minutes.
On Warrington, it felt like they were rocking a little bit. As we said, 10 minutes they were looking at the line. Luke Douglas is a little bit high on the big winger, Tomlik Lynham. But the pace again from Warrington, continually testing and challenging the defenders.
Well, Ratchford has lost it. Furious with himself.
Well, gets the speed that he's looking for.
Actually, there's a hand there from Tommy Makington as well, coming over the top, knocked the ball out of his grasp, but a loose carry.
Yeah, well, he knows that that's a mistake from him. He's going to be hit by anybody in the Saints jersey that's around him. When they go into contact, he's looking more at what Ryan Morgan's doing, tries to get rid of him with his right arm. He's unaware of where Tommy Makington's coming from, and he just tries to hit him with everything, dislodges the ball.
Stephen Ratchford is one of the players in the England squad named this week. 5 in all from Warrington, 6 from Saints. They both have 2 in the England Knights squad as well, so I think it's safe to say we're watching 2 of the best sides in 2018 on show here tonight. And the league table at this stage doesn't really tell many lies. Here they come again with Luke Douglas. Roby gets it away to McCarthy Scarsbrook again. He tries to jink inside. He releases the pass backwards miraculously, and it finds Lomax, who ducks under the would-be challenge. Helped on to Percival from Roby's desperate pass. Percival keeps it alive as well. That's off the boot of Lomax. Just have to check them. We're not on the last tackle. We're not. There's still one to go, but they're keeping it alive as they always do. Percival away from one, but can't get away from Toby King. surrenders to the challenge in the end. Last one now. Richardson then with a kick, high to the right-hand side, looking for Makinson. Finding Makinson, it's dumped down. Now it's knocked on by Warrington. And the pressure on Harvey Levett was enormous.
Well, he goes for it. He's not just going to sit there and let one of the Saints players come up with the ball. I think it's Morgan Knowles.
It's exciting, this game.
They are under pressure here, Warrington, and Saints are doing what Saints are good at.
It's exciting, this game. It honest to God feels like eating coffee-flavoured ice cream. I don't like it. I enjoy it. I know I shouldn't like it. It's scrappy, it's messy. There's offloads, there's balls on the floor, but I can't stop watching it.
What on earth are you on about? That went up a cul-de-sac and came back in 4 reverses. I take it you're enjoying it, but not much.
I'm enjoying it, but I shouldn't be.
But you know you shouldn't.
I know I shouldn't be.
Okay. Don't buy Barry chocolate ice cream, that's the message.
Coffee flavoured ice cream.
Or coffee ice cream. Here's Roby. Great ball. McCarthy Scarsbrook trying to bully his way to the line. He gets there almost. Roby is there. Fires the pass to Richardson. He finds Lomax. Good defence again from Warrington. 4 minutes to half-time. Leading 8-0 Warrington, defending their lone line once again as Morgan Knowles finds Douglas. Here is McCarthy Scarsbrook again, trying to take the wind out of Aquala's sails. Roby is looking both left and right, comes left. Richardson, not the best kick. In fact, it was probably his worst little dab through of the season. Jack Hughes gratefully picks it up.
Poor kick, but you've got to credit the defensive end. When you look at both of these sides here, you're not surprised they're at the top of the table. We've only had one try in the first half. It was Darrell Clark, the man who puts pressure on Richardson, that scored the try. I think they've been brilliant, both of these sides.
Well, Warrington have 3¼ minutes to keep St Helens out because they haven't been kept scoreless at half-time yet this season.
And
that would be one heck of a tick in their box.
Eddie, that's massive. That they score an average of 6 tries a game, Saints, so that is really big, and I'm sure the coach will talk about that at half-time.
And Roberts just drills the ball all along the ground and finds touch.
Now that is a defensive kick. Knowing that there's just under 3 minutes to go before they go into the changing rooms, Tyrone Roberts says, yep, let's kick the ball off the field, we'll walk down, we'll walk to the scrum. Maybe another 30-40 seconds to go. We'll have one set of 6 to defend, and hasn't it been a great half?
They're delighted.
Those fans.
Warrington fans thrilled with what they've seen. This will probably be St Helens' last chance in this first half. You look at the tries that they've got amongst them. 22 for Barber, 11 for Morgan, 17 for Percival, 11 for Grace. Warrington have done well. Here's Regan Grace now.
Looks like they've just not let them play. The mistakes that Saints have made, it's because of the line speed from Warrington.
Peyrou. That's a bit high from Brown. No. Referee keeps the whistle in his pocket. Roby. Morgan Knowles. Warrington know this will be a psychological tick for them if they keep the Saints out. As Lomax tries to prise them open again. Knowles once more. Richardson. Here comes Ryan Morgan. Solid from Philbin.
He's defended well, has made a big impact, Joe Philbin.
Richardson running it, now kicking it deep on the last. Charnley has it. Will Warrington respond with a Charnley try? No, not yet.
You'll bet that Kevin Brown and Tyrone Roberts will sit behind the big forwards, just directing them upfield, and then it'll be kicked from one of those 2 players off the field again to get to half-time.
We enter the final minute of the first half. Justin Morgan, Justin Holbrook. I've got Justin Morgan on the brain. Every time I see Justin, I give him the Morgan treatment.
Will they get close enough here for a 1-point effort? They've almost nothing to lose, I think, Terry, rather than kicking over the sideline.
This is Hughes. Well, the bang in front here, the 30 metres out. Roberts has positioned himself. No, he's not going to go for it. He's running it, actually. He's running it, and he's giving it wide to Charnley. And Charnley keeps it alive, but Mark Percival drops on it gratefully. Right, they've got 20 seconds to get up the other end of the field at the Saints. Regan Grace is halted.
Mike Cooper, he has a big 40 minutes, hasn't he? Hasn't been off yet, the prop forward.
Last 10 seconds. Percival will go down, tackle number 3. If he get up quick enough, he'll have one more chance. And they will. Here's Regan Grace. Well, there you go. Warrington have done something that no other team has done so far this season. They have kept the runaway league leaders with a big fat 0 against their name at half-time. And Justin Holbrook has got a lot to talk about during the half-time interval, because Warrington have been the dominant force. They scored the game's only try through Darrell Clark after 10 minutes. Roberts kicked the conversion. He then kicked a penalty goal on the 22nd minute, and that's how it stands at half-time. Saints 0, Warrington 8.
Back in the day, a tackle was a tackle. Diving was something you did down the backs. Shorts were short, and there wasn't a man bun or Alice band in sight. And again, back in the day, you couldn't place a bet on this. So if you like a flutter on the footy, sign up with Betfred and check out Goals Galore, Double Delight and Hat-Trick Heaven, and Acca Insurance. Now there's something to celebrate. Whenever you bet, Betfred.
I lose everything so I can sing. I'm free, I'm free, I'm free.
For travel, I trust Kayak. They search hundreds of travel sites to find the best flight offers for me. For everything else, I trust myself.
If football's the game of two halves, then the Isuzu D-Max is the truck of two sides. It pulls up to 3.5 tons. Then inside, it's all calm, relaxed, nothing to see here, ref. Out on the field, it makes it look easy. Tough tackles, hard knocks, never back down. And sublime selectable 4x4 control puts the Isuzu D-Max in a league of its own. To see the Isuzu D-Max driving derby challenges, Sky customers, press the red button now.
This Friday, there's a £42 million jackpot. Nicer problems to have. Euro Millions.
All the fun you need. Wow! Really? All in Sky Cinema Animation.
Who will sign off for the midsummer break in style? The Formula One Hungarian Grand Prix weekend. Live only on Sky Sports F1.
This hero has a life-threatening condition.
Everyone's going to learn the truth about you. We have to leave the country.
What?
I'm sure you've told a few white lies in your time.
I'm on my way!
Just keep it to yourself.
You can trust me.
And you can trust me, too.
The cover-up continues in the brand new series of Sick Note. All episodes available now.
That was an absolute wicked kick, that.
The Ungaro Ring in Budapest will be the venue for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and it will start tomorrow, 9:45 a.m. on Sky Sports Formula 1. Practice qualifying on Saturday, 1 p.m, same channel, and it is race day Sunday. All starts at 12:30 p.m. Well, we're at the Totally Wicked Stadium in St Helens. Round 23 of the Betfred Super League is up and running, and it has been an excellent first 40 minutes. Who needs tries? Just a solitary 4-pointer for Warrington Wolves. Darrell Clark converted, and Tyrone Roberts tagging on a penalty as well gives the visitors an 8-point lead. Saints have lost just once here in 2018 and haven't lost in their last 11 Super League matches. Is an upset of sorts on the cards. Here's a tale of the tape. 700 metres made by the Warrington Wolves, running the ball to 5.95 by the St Helens side, and just 5 missed tackles by Nick Steve Price's team. Good with and without the ball. Well, some thought it meant little. Both would be in the Super League semi-finals. Both had a Challenge Cup semi-final to concentrate on for next week, or at least would have one eye on that. But when you cross the line to play a game of rugby league, you will find motivation, and we saw that, John Wells, evidence tonight in what has been a blistering Betfred Super League match.
Yeah, and these two, let's face it, are likely to face each other in much more meaningful, high-stakes games at the end of it. So I think it's important, the half that Warrington have had, very much the underdogs when these two have faced each other this season. And I thought they were excellent, both sides of the ball, as you said. Very effective opening quarter, very direct. Saints struggling with the momentum that likes of Cooper provided there prior to the offload for Clark's try.
Lovely bit of spice, John Wilkin, Ben Westwood.
And that led to the other points in the game. Tyrone Roberts, well, he took the extra 2 points because Wilkins strayed a little high there on Ben Westwood. I think Westwood, Hill and Cooper have really caused problems for St Helens. It's reflected in their missed tackles, and also I think the other side of the ball, perhaps more importantly, they have been almost squeaky clean.
There's a tempo to this match, John, that it belies the fact that, as I said, these sides are already probably going to be in Super League semi-finals and have got that Challenge Cup. There's concentration, there's a tempo, there's a movement of the ball from the Warrington Wolves that is, I mean, St Helens at times, and they got a very good defence, we know that this year, they're struggling to contain them.
Yeah, they are. This has been a feature of the Warrington Wolves attack this season, pre-line passing. So there's three passes into contact. I've highlighted Luke Thompson because I want you to have a look at the work that he's having to do now off the ball to adjust. So keep one eye on the man circled, and then have a look at how Warrington sets up. So it's Cooper to Westwood to Hill. So Thompson's had to make a movement here. He's back towards the sticks. I'll pick him up again.
But the ball is still alive.
Ball's still alive. Quick play the ball. He's having to move in again towards the ball. Now this is a key thing here, I think. Darrell Clark, I think he's had an exceptional first half. When the ball comes out and it's scrappy like this, and there are that many players, that many St Helens players around the ball in this area, the good thing that he's done, he's had the foresight to see an area of the field there that they need to get to, moving the point of the attack. So I'll clear all that. Remember Thompson by the right-hand stick. That there is brilliant. Stepping inside, and again, Thompson is actually forced into another tackle after another change of direction into Ben Cooper. He's involved in that tackle. An awful lot of work and energy burnt up in defence. Final point on this one, Darrell Clark. This is instinct, this is not really coachable. It's in you or it's not. And it's well before he realises that Ben Cooper's going to get the ball away. Just look at the reaction here. That's well before he knows he's getting the ball away. That's excellent stuff and well deserving of the try. As we said, equally good on the other side of the ball. I'm going to see if I can pick up Kevin Brown here. Look at the movement he makes.
There'll be two things we're looking at here, isn't there? There's a compliment to St Helens in attack. We saw it so good against Wigan. They made plenty of breaks last week. Wigan were able to scramble. We've seen the same again from Warrington. We're seeing probably the best attack in Super League, but a defence that's matching it.
It's not scramble defence. It's a little more composed, and we'll touch on that in a bit. Saints have been frustrated in attack. They've been frustrated out of their normal rhythm. Kevin Brown's disappearing from your picture, but you'll see him again making the tackle on Zebteya. Now, Kevin Brown's a left edge defender, so Bryson Goodwin knows at this point he needs to recruit not just numbers, but he needs ideally men that can defend on the left hand edge. Look at the movement look at the first call is get players, second call just there. It was an indication to Tom Line and the man on the outside of him, we're short on numbers, we've got to go. But it is done. It is not done in a harebrained fashion or hiding it off in a Hail Mary defence. It's coordinated defence. Ball comes out, good tip on from Richardson, but I'm going to slow it down at this point. The amount of people that Ben Barber has done with that drifted catch in 2018 doesn't bear thinking about. Great defence, considered defence. And again here, it's when they do leave the line, it's not too early, it's not too committed. And again, the most dangerous man on this most dangerous of angles back across the ruck. A real warning lights here for Warrington. I think a good bit of reaction from Harvey Levett, and it's the reason why St Helens haven't been able to cross that whitewash. So in summary, brilliant on one side of the ball in attack, caused them all kinds of problems. Direct, hard-nosed, smart from Darrell Clark. In defence, I think, as you said, coordinating is an excellent word. They're not losing their heads. They're not having to scramble, and this is born out of work on the training field. They don't just come up with it today.
They are trailing at half-time, the league leaders St Helens. They did trail when the sides met in round 5 earlier this year. Of course, went on to win the second half, win the game comfortably. Justin Holbrook now addressing his players. I'm thinking about Ben Barber, and I'm wondering whether Ben Barber is at full fitness and whether a change will be made of perhaps shoving Lomax into the full-back position. We'll see if that unfolds in the second half. Steve Price and his side, well, they said they're a much improved team from the time they met earlier this year. John, they're showing us that.
They are, and it's a happy dressing room and a relaxed dressing room. You can see that.
Okay, they'll want to kick on in the second 40 minutes. They lead at half-time here at the Totally Wicked Stadium. Round 23, it's 8-0 at half-time to the visitors. Can they become the second side to down Saints at home? 40 minutes lie ahead. Eddie and the boys standing by the other side of this break.
Big chase on him, Luke Gale with a drop goal! He has kicked it!
Dreams in the final week of the up to half price summer sale, there's an extra 20% off every bed frame when bought with any mattress till Tuesday. That's what dreams are made of.
When guys shave, this is what they do to try and get every hair. This is what we do.
Shaving rebuilt with Gillette FlexBall technology. Moves like no other razor. It's unbelievable, Jeff. Gillette, the best a man can get.
Live more, right now. Share more, right now. Go forth, feet first, no fear, right now. Send love, right now. Back home, right now. Milan, Sudan, Japan, right now. Let rip, right now. Lose grip, right now. Your list ticked off in full, right now. Moving money to make the world you want, right now. Download the Western Union app.
All right?
Yeah, my bank just charged me £70 for going over my limit. I hate them.
Why are you paying fees? With Drafty, you could get approved for a pot of cash up to £3,000. You can dip in whenever you need. Borrowing £100 for a month costs just over a £5. Apply for your credit line at drafty.co.uk.
Drafty.co.uk. Thanks.
Drafty.co.uk.
At Halfords, we're getting staycationers really ready for really sunny, really rainy, really country laney, really bike trailing, really ice creamy, really.
Where are we?
Really tent peggy, really, really e-bikey, really bumpy, really.
You have reached your destination, eh?
Really ready for summer. Get up to 30% off bikes and accessories, plus loads more great offers at Halfords.
Who will sign off for the midsummer break in style? The Formula One Hungarian Grand Prix weekend. Live only on Sky Sports F1.
Disney's incredible summer sale is now on in Sky Store.
Showtime.
Come on, let's go. It's wonderful.
I suppose it is.
Surf's up,
I could watch that all day.
Get whisked away with your Disney favourites. All yours from only $5.99 in Sky Store now.
That was totally wicked!
Disney's incredible summer sale, now on in Sky Store. All the fun you need. Wow! Really? All in Sky Cinema Animation.
Them perhaps weave a little bit of magic. Heavyweight powerhouses collide as Dillian Whyte and Joseph Parker face off at London's O2 Arena on Saturday night. It's a real 50-50 clash, this. There's a packed undercard too, with coverage getting underway from 6 on Sky Sports Box Office. Now, Sky customers should go to channel 491 or Box Office to book this event. For more information on all ways to watch, go to skysports.com/White Parker. Cable customers should contact their operator. Here we are on a Super League Thursday at the Totally Wicked Stadium, the home of St Helens, the league leaders, who trail at half-time by 8 points to 0 to the Warrington Wolves. Warrington taking aim on second place if Wigan slip up tomorrow. Saints, of course, runaway leaders on the top of the table. Both sides with important cup ties in the semi-final stage next week, and then the Super 8s and the business of trying to get yourselves to Old Trafford for the grand final, the biggest night of the Super League year. It's Warrington who will get the second half underway. They met St Helens at home in March. They lost by 12 points to 30. It was their 4th defeat in the first 6 matches. The natives of Warrington were restless, but the season has turned round under Stephen Price. This, though, is regarded as the acid test, and if they go away from here tonight with a victory, it is a massive statement of intent.
I'm looking at this game, Eddie. Most of the fans are thinking who's going to open it up first. Obviously Warrington with that 8-point cushion against Saints, but Saints, as long as that man's on the field, James Roby, the question problems, there we go.
Lomax gets the ball away. It's Mark Percival down the left-hand side. He cuts in field. He has support. He might not need the support. He will. It's from Ben Barber, and Super League's top try scorer gets St Helens back in the match in the very first minute of the second half. A wonderful move down the left-hand side. Percival just stepped through the challenges one after the other. Barber was there in support. He looked injured in the first half, and Ben Barber gets his 23rd Super League try of the season, and St Helens are back in the match.
Well, Ben Barber, he gets that try, but it all comes off the great work of Johnny Lomax, keeping his feet. He's got lovely balance, Johnny Lomax. He has John Wilkin outside of him, uses him as a foil, finds an offload to Mark Percival, who I agree with John Wells, looks the player most likely to break the line and create opportunities. Fantastic teamwork try there.
He's definitely the go-to man, Mark Percival. Whenever they shifted the ball, all the action was down his side. He's one of the leading players for tackle busts in Super League, and when he gives that ball to Ben Barber, that's the 40th try they've got between them this year. Two talented players.
Danny Richardson adds the extras, and the Saints are back within 2, right at the start of the second half.
Percival scored 3 tries and set him another when they won in March. You mentioned how hot he was then, and he's been hot again here tonight. They play very much heavily dominant on the left-hand side, and it's no surprise that they've made the breakdown that Warrington know for the remainder of this match, almost 40 minutes, they're going to have to tighten up that defence out there on the far side, because it's going to come again.
Well, that won't have been the start that Warrington wanted. It is obviously the start to the second half that the Saints were desperate for. And the tails will now be up for a wee while, you would think. Here goes Luke Douglas. Let's see what the half-time news was. What was said in the dressing rooms, Bill?
Well, Justin Holbrook obviously delighted with the response from his side to that half-time talk, which wasn't too fiery, wasn't too concerned, was satisfied with the first 40 minutes, apart from some sloppiness that has cost his side those points, they feel. But as we can see from the way they've come out firing at the start of this second half, they're really going to take the game to Warrington, and Warrington responding with a great hit there. And Steve Price will be disappointed they conceded that try right at the start of the second half, because the thing that pleased him in the first 40 minutes was the defensive effort, nilling St Helens in that first 40 minutes, and immediately they come out and miss a tackle on Lomax there, or let him slip through, and they pay the price. So defensively, Warrington happy. They've got to hang in there. They know what's coming, and they've got to tighten up. And Saints will be throwing everything at them, as we've seen already. Interesting spectator just a few seats away from me tonight. Steve McNamara, the Catalan Dragons coach, here with his coaching staff, because of course they're involved in a Challenge Cup semi-final against the Saints next week. Interesting to watch what they'll be up against.
Yes, indeed so. And they would have seen a real hit there by Mike Cooper, which has given Warrington this possession. It was a tremendous tackle on McCarthy Scarisbrooke.
They needed somebody to come up with an effort like that, because they were getting rolled in the middle. Speed of the play, the ball was too quick for them.
Here goes Roberts. 20 metres away. Roberts stands and plays the ball to Clark. Now it's with Philbin. Finds Cooper. Brown. And I think that went backwards, actually, from Ratchford. It would be deemed to be a knock-on.
Ball pass from Kevin Brown goes straight up to Stephen Ratchford.
He did his best here, though. Look, he does.
Well, he lunges forward. He's trying to get it.
I think he just knocks it back at the last second, doesn't he?
I think he does. I mean, it's easy for us to see that on the replay. But that was my original reaction. I mean, he'd lost control of it, but he knocked it back.
Yeah, he went backwards. To be fair to James Charlie, he had about 4 players in his way when that went down.
Saints won't be complaining, that is for sure. Makinson to his feet, plays it to Roby. Lomax on the inside once again to Luke Douglas. He's played in all but 2 this year as Luke Douglas. Short ball from Morgan Knowles finds McCarthy Scarisbrooke. He offloads in the tackle, gets it back to Douglas. This now Lomax again. And the jink his way down the middle. Gets as far as Philbin. Roby to Richardson. Peyroux. Good offload to Ryan Morgan. It's good scrambling defence though by Lynham. Peyroux to Richardson. Here comes Morgan Knowles. 5th tackle, last one then. From the boot of Richardson, it goes to this right-hand side. Oh, Ratchford did well.
He does remarkably well there. He's had a bit of a mixed game so far. Stephen Ratchford sets the pace and the tempo and the standards in many respects for what Warrington do. He catches the ball in field, and importantly for Warrington now, they brought on Ben Murdoch-Masila, trying to make the most of that midfield dominance, speed that ruck up, speed that player the ball up. He's coming in tight. I like him further away on the edges when he's got some one-on-ones. I mean, you've seen 3 defenders struggling to get him down, but he's even more dangerous when he's got a one-on-one.
Well, he's missed the last 4 as Burton Murdoch-Masila, but while they've got Darrell Clark on the field, they always have the opportunity, and that's a good tackle by his opposite number, Roby. Here is Ratchford. Ratchford finds Tyrone Roberts. Roberts now hoists the kick down the right-hand side. Oh, it's claimed easily, and then lost forward. Regan Grace will have it, and Charlie makes sure he isn't going very far. They'll bring it back to the 10-metre line, and it'll be the turnover.
Well, the ball comes down Toby King's hand on the last play, looks to offload the ball, tries to get it to the substitute who's just come on the field, Ben Murdoch-Masila. Unfortunately can't do that.
So Saints trying to get the ball away from their own line again. Makinson. They have dominated meetings against Warrington over the past 23 seasons, despite Warrington's revival on this ground. St Helens 46 wins from 61 matches. Warrington just 13. There've been a couple of draws. They're only 2 points apart from each other here tonight, 7 minutes into the second half. Roby and try scorer Barber to Douglas to Knowles. Philbin stands, wrestles him to the floor. Roby again, just over the halfway mark. Here's Richardson. Last tackle, so it goes high off the boot. Ratchford's after it, claims it well again.
You've got to be brave in that position. I mean, you look at him when he goes for this ball. As soon as he touches the ground, he knows he's going to be hit. So the big, imposing, dominant player route.
Knees and
just
feet up, though, in the...
You've just got to try and protect yourself.
Yeah, the protection mode,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Charnley hits the deck. This now is Goodwin.
Seems like the opening 8 minutes in this second half, they're just feeling each other. Well, they're out again, aren't they? Couple of big, strong carries from the forwards up the middle, then looking to shift the ball. Quick play the ball here.
I don't know about that. I like Mike Cooper a lot. I think he's a great player, but I think he's jumped there forward.
I think Roby's legs are sort of tangled up behind him.
I think that's a penalty.
I don't know whether I agree, Phil. I think he's earned the right to play that ball at the pace he wants to, and James Roby just has hold of the ankle.
He averages 20 carries a game, Mike Cooper, and that, I think he's been tremendous. James Roby knew exactly what he'd done. If he lets him play the ball, see Darrell Clark, he's going to be gone straight away.
Kick at goal again here, I suppose, what like they did in the first half. 40 metres out, straight in front. He's got the confidence, probably got the accuracy.
He has the wind in his face this time. The wind is at the back of Warrington, in the back of Saints in the second half. There we go. Just tugs at the ankle there. Yeah, that's why the penalty's given, all right.
But he knows what Darrell Clark's thinking, running into that play behind Mike Cooper. Once your big forwards are dominant in that carry, they land on the front, they're going to jump up. If he doesn't do that play, then all of a sudden, Darrell Clark's going to be off against a scattered defensive line.
Well, he's kicked okay tonight, hasn't he, Tyrone Roberts? He's kicked okay since he's taken the responsibility. 10 goals in his last 2 games, 2 more here tonight. This for a third and for a 4-point lead. Warrington plainly think this is going to be close. He's got the 2 points, so Warrington, Saints 6, Warrington 10.
You can't blame them, can you? Again, industrious work by Mike Cooper, fighting hard, gets through that line, and those points, those simple 2 points available, have been gratefully received by both players and fans.
Well, the Saints won the corresponding fixture last year here, 31 points to 6. It was the last win achieved under the Kieran Cunningham coaching regime. A defeat at Salford, a home draw with Huddersfield, and the club legend was gone a short time later. But St Helens this year, top of the tree, and trailing after 50 minutes of this match. As I said earlier, Warrington, when they see St Helens away on the fixture list in the early days of Super League, they must have thought, oh no, not again. But these days, they come with great confidence. They feel they can win here.
I think they've come with the right plan as well. Let's give credit where it's due. Look at the territory they're making, look at the end of the sets, the way that they consistently kick to Regan Grace and put him under pressure as well.
And he's come up with a knock-on as Regan Grace.
That was a big set of 6 after scoring some points. It was low risk. You can see the numbers getting in front of Regan Grace. And whereas years have gone by, Warrington would throw that ball, they'd throw caution to the wind. It seems to me that Steve Price has come in and stripped everything back, saying, look, you've got to make sure that we focus. Like, if we do score points, let's get through the kick, get through the set, get to the kick, and then we'll start again.
Well, they'll start again here with head and feet at the scrum, 10 metres away from the Saints line. So we've been marking on all year about the way St Helens can defend their line in 2018. We're going to get more evidence of it here now. From Clark, it finds its way to Brown. Here is Cooper. The Opharge is on, you notice, with the white and red scrum cap for Saints. Here's Darrell Clark. Flat pass To Hughes. Riley Moore gritting his teeth. Coming in third man in the tackle. And then giving a little push and a shove. It's another penalty to Warrington. Will they kick the goal here then?
You think they go for another 2 points?
Well, this will put them a converted try ahead.
Yeah, well, Kevin Brown straight away as soon as this penalty is awarded. From the interference from Kyle Amor and Jack Hughes. And Darryl Clark say, yeah, let's just go for 2 points, we'll take them. Keep knocking them over, and then the pressure goes back onto Saints.
It's an easy 2 points for Warrington, and it's easy to look at Kyle Amor and think that his decision to stay involved and engaged in that tackle left the referee with no option, but it's also the work of Jack Hughes.
All right, but especially Danny, we're trying to be a little bit conservative. Okay, but I've clearly call held and release. You've got to come out. Marcus has got to be set. We're trying. All right.
So to just emphasise my point, they can't get him to ground. Theo Farge thinks better. He thinks, I need to get back in position. I need to get on the goal line. And Kyle Amor is left with no or two choices. I either stay on or I come out.
James Charles just explained to Ben Barber there the reason for the penalty is that he's clearly called held. Kyle Amor's kept on pushing him backwards. Ben Barber's explained it to James Charles, well, he needs to do that so that the markers can get set. James Charles won't be bothered about that at all. He's called held, the player has to be released, and that's the reason for the penalty.
Well, this should be an easy 2 points.
And what St Helens need to address is the gaining game that's taking place. When Warrington is trying to gain ground, they're doing it far stronger, more dominant way than the Saints side. And that basically is the platform on which Warrington are getting penalties, getting better field position, and putting points on the board.
6-12, Warrington lead.
Let's have a little look how many metres Steve Price's men make from this kick off the last set. After they kicked the conversion, they made over 60. Then they got to the kick, they forced the error.
Ratchford underneath the kick-off. West Wood takes it forward. Here's Cooper.
I think he's been outstanding. He's not been off yet.
He's played well, Cooper.
Big minutes.
Celebrating his call into the England squad.
Yeah, defence and attack. Look how good he is. Certainly setting the marker down, isn't he? To other people in that squad.
Got a try at OKR last week as well. It was his 180th Warrington appearance in the two spells. Clark gets the ball away to Ratchford. Ratchford is clobbered from behind by Thompson and Morgan Knowles. Roberts, nice feet, nice dab. Barber's there to sweep up.
Well, Barry said he wanted Ben Murdoch-Masila to start running out wider. He did do that. Gets a quick play of the ball. He picks out Theo Farge, and all of a sudden it's a good 30 metres off the back of one carry.
And they're aggressive here, Warrington. I was just going to say, they need to keep that discipline, keep that composure. And the centre, Bryson Goodwin, he goes in, he tries to be as physical as he can with Regan Grayson off the back of this. Warrington defenders and the defensive line. Well, James Child didn't like it.
So St Helens getting some cheap meters downfield. Zepteas thinking of the offload he's given it to. He gave it to Ben Murdoch-Masila.
Good call from the referee. He realised what Zepteas was doing in that tackle. He goes in, he's trying to get the ball to Johnny Lomax, and then it just goes into the hands of Ben Murdoch-Masila, who panics a bit, thinking, no, I need to give him the ball back. Thinking it was going to be a strip, he thought he was going to be penalised. Ben Murdoch-Masila then.
Well, James Child has seen that ball being given to Murdoch-Masila. Murdoch-Masila's frightened of being penalised and gives him it back. It's a bit of a nightmare situation for the referee to deal with. So he's actually called the tackle when Murdoch-Masila was in possession. So therefore, they've ended up with the ball at the scrum.
Tell you what, mate. Heads in.
So that's his get out of jail card.
I know. Yeah. The ref's made a mistake, probably hasn't he, instinctively there, just blown for a scrum.
This is Brown. And Cooper. Clark again. Hughes has been busy all night. Here goes Clark again, down the middle with Westwood. Clark down the right to Roberts. Ratchford. King to Charnley. Charnley back to Roberts. Roberts then to Clark. Looking for someone to come back around him. Gives it to Hughes in a standing start. Clark again down the left-hand side to Brown. Little chip off the outside of the boot. Theo Farge did well. He beat the post padding, but they couldn't beat the two defenders. Goal line dropout.
Well, is it Tyrone Roberts and Stephen Ratchford that have called for that play?
The lovely kick.
This is a great take as well. He's got the post pad to deal with, the crossbar to deal with, two defenders behind him to deal with. He's going to catch the ball over his shoulder. That's a good effort from the young Frenchman.
Okay, let's go. Down.
Richardson's dropout finds Stephen Ratchford. Here he goes again. Big Ben. He gets to his feet, does Westwood, and plays the ball to Clark. Here is Cooper. Solid run again from Cooper.
Yeah, tremendous. Laying that platform, Cooper, all day.
Hughes. Ten metres out. Clark again. Down the left to Brown. Goodwin on the charge, gets the ball back to Libet. Theo Farge does well with a little help from Peyrou. Clark once again. Kevin Brown trying to step inside the big men. Saints have weathered 5 tackles. Can they keep them out on this, the last? As Roberts hoists the ball into the corner again. Looking for Charnley! Oh, and I tell you what, Percival did brilliantly.
Oh, he saved the try then, didn't he, Mark Percival? He can score a try, but he's definitely saved one then. I think Josh Charnley had hold of that ball and then he stripped it. Is it in the air, and they get a penalty here now. Warrington trying to just up the pressure in this game. Good take.
Will be absolutely gutted, Josh Charnley there. He's leaped high, he's caught the ball above his head in both hands, and then from that handover, turnover, he's probably the guilty party in that penalty.
Well, no offloads here from Zebte on this play. See Josh Charnley goes back to his wing, having lost the ball on a one-on-one steal.
Thompson. Down the middle he goes. Theo Farge. Cooper was just impeding him in the ruck. He's still involved there. This is Lomax. It's Farge again. Richardson. Spins away from a couple, does Danny Richardson. Good progress made by St Helens this set. That's Farge. Now it's Thompson. This is Lomax. And Zebtea hangs on under pressure from Murdoch-Masilla and Hughes. 3 metres away, the Saints. Farge stabs the kick in, and Benny Westwood just sticks the leg out and says thanks a lot.
Well, Benny Westwood absolutely leathered Johnny Lomax just as he was passing that ball. And if he didn't do that, he was probably going to be the recipient of an offload. Then, good kick, but he's in that position, isn't he? Benny Westwood, the old stager.
It's Roberts at dummy half. Well, Saints hunting the mistake here. Goodwin.
Warrington just nice and easy with this play. Kick here from Roberts.
Straight down the throat of Barber.
Yeah, it's a poor kick as well, that.
Now Makinson to run it back. Good hit. Oh, Murdoch-Masilla's got an injury there. Oh, he's limping badly after that.
Well, this is impressive from Makinson. He's got back, reset. I thought he was going to take the next one there, but it's Thompson now. He's back on the field and trying to take his team in this final quarter now onto the front foot.
And Amor trying to do the same. Chris Hill gets to him. Murdoch-Masilla in all sorts of problems in back play as Morgan Slips under the approaching challenge from Darrell Clark. Last tackle coming up this set for St Helens. Richardson is running it. Now he puts the kick in. Turning line him around. That's good play by Dominic Peyrou. That's great play by St Helens.
Hasn't he come on a bundle, Dominic Peyrou? He came over the other part of his St Helens career. He was trying to establish himself as a centre. Looks like he's picked up a bit of a knock and an injury, but put his body on the line for his side, chasing hard, head back. And Tom Lynham, one of the bigger wingers we have going around in Super League. He does his work, does his job. The kicker, the chaser, all spot on. And for Warrington, Ben Murdoch-Masilla, who we saw involved in that collision with Tommy Makinson coming off second best. I think he's left the field.
Joe Philbin's on for him. Benny Westwood struggling, just taking those seconds, as many as he can. And James Roby, well, he's back onto the field as well here.
So goal line drop out from Roberts. Good length on it. Lomax is underneath it. Amor will try and drive it back as far as he can.
I think that they're going to try and speed the game up here now, Saints, with the starting front rowers on.
Thompson takes him putting down, doesn't he, Luke Thompson? Roby will wait. Comes right and finds Farge. Showed it to Amor, and Chris Hill wouldn't be fooled. 10 metres. Oh, they get the penalty, Saints.
It's too much. On the move, Tom.
Justin Holbrook.
Well, living every play, isn't it, Justin Holbrook?
Blood pressure's rising.
Line!
We'll keep going. There we go.
Thompson again. Stands, turns, gives it to Richardson. Here's Amor. St Helens piling on the pressure. Warrington standing firm. Test of their defence now. Saints' defence has been tested all night. Richardson gets it away to Thompson. Solid defence again from Westwood and Jack Hughes. And Roby finds Barber. And Makinson just slipped into the challenge of Roberts. Roby will try and nick one. And he's just held up short of the line. Richardson fires the pass to Lomax. Lomax finds Barber. Levette got to him, but he got the ball away to Peyrou. Peyrou slips the pass to Farge. Here is Kyle Amor. He bundles Roberts off it. Roberts comes back gamely. Back it goes to Thompson. And Thompson will stretch for the line, and he's held up on tackle number 5. Roby. Here's Farge. Farge gets the ball away. Back it comes to Lomax. And Lomax scores for St Helens. Johnny Lomax. 4 tries in his last 5 before tonight. 14th try of the season. 13 try assists in 2018. A try against Warrington here in 2016. That was Warrington's last win on this ground. But Lomax now has put Saints back within this kick at drawing level.
They just look like they're having fun here, Saints. A good inside pass from Saints. When they go into contact, they're always looking to offload it. Zeb Taylor, the man who gets the ball, and Warrington's defensive line. In that set, some are sitting back, some are going up. I mean, they were panicking a bit, the way that Justin Holbrook's men were playing the game and dictating the speed of the game. And now, well, who's got the best nerves, Saints or Warrington?
And they would have had no idea where Johnny Lomax was coming from. He came from the inside shoulder of the replacement Theo Farge, popped up on the shoulder of Zeb Taylor. And I'll tell you what we'll see now, lads. We'll see who's more concerned with next week, or who's more concerned with these 2 competition points.
Well, these 2 points would level the score if Richardson kicks it. And on a personal note, Super League's top goal kicker would be the first man to reach a century of kicks if he kicks this. So a big kick for Richardson personally, a massive kick for his team. He's up to the task. The score's 11-12 apiece.
Well, Danny Richardson's the only player to have taken a goal kick for St Helens this season. Every other team in Super League has used 4, 5 or 6 different kickers, but Richardson's consistency has got them level. You know, some tries are scored in rugby league because of brute force, and some because of a brilliant brains. The clever player there, passing out, then passing back into the centre of the field, makes it very difficult to defend against. And they've scored from that several times this season. Usually with Ben Barber, tonight through Johnny Lomax.
Well, Lomax also named in the England elite training squad this week. And Richardson, 100 successful kicks from 140 attempts. And Richardson being recognised internationally as well because he's in the England night squad. And he got 3 goals in the 14-6 win at Wigan last week. So, all square at 12-all. Back where we started with a quarter of an hour to go.
Well, this game will come down to the character. Like Barry said, your competition points or the Challenge Cup semi-final. At Saints, I think it's difficult for Warrington at present, the way that Saints are playing. Look at all the players congregating round the ruck, pushing forward here with James Roby. Loses the ball though.
The referee says that's a 0 tackle to play on, but they bring it back now. Well, St Helens have ratcheted up the pressure.
They can do that to you. And obviously when you play against Saints, and you've played against them over the years, you know what they've got in the DNA with that man in the team. They do thrive on pressure. They do play off speed. They like to take on the defences when, as soon as you start backpedaling and defending on your heels, Saints know that they've got you then.
It's a big moment, isn't it? When James Roby does that, as he does consistently, and he has done throughout his career, if you can deal with that, if you can handle that, shut him down, and what's better than that, force and error. We've talked about Warrington aiming up in this game and it being a benchmark game. Psychologically, can they match it with St Helens? Well, we're all locked up, but just less than 15 minutes to go in this game. I don't know who's going to win it.
You're not alone. By the way, it is almost time for you to have your say on the man of the match vote. It comes, of course, to you via the Our League app. I think James Roby got the salver and the prize money for his charity last week against Wigan. He's going to be in the running again tonight as well, but there's been some great performances on both sides of the park here. And we'll give you the 4 names shortly as Warrington cough up the possession again. And here goes Makinson down this right-hand side. They nearly got him over the whitewash. Somehow he stayed in.
Warrington tried to go up the exact same play that Saints scored from, but they just couldn't take that pass then. Stephen Ratchford.
Thompson will drive it in. Saints have got the sniff of victory.
Good carry, good carry.
Here goes McCarthy, Scarsbrook. Cooper just held on to him, and good job he did. Now it's Roby, here's Theo Farge. Lomax, short ball, Teya. 4 gone, Saints 9 metres away. Farge again, Thompson's on his shoulder, there he is. Thompson with a good drive to the line, he gets over the line, then the ball is knocked from his grasp. Was it knocked from his grasp? Or did he just drop it? Well, the referee's view, I think, is that he dropped it.
Drop that.
Time off.
Is he going to ask Phil Benton to have a look at this? Surely we're not thinking of the question mark of a penalty try, or are we?
Tackle fall. I think checking for a ball steal. I got no try. Checking how the ball comes out.
He's checking for a ball steal, as you heard him there.
But a ball steal wouldn't be a penalty try, would it?
No.
Even though he's over the line,
Even though he's looking
to plonk it.
That was ruled out a while ago.
Okay.
I think there's every chance he's just lost that ball from that angle. Players are entitled to try and defend the line. I think he's just lost that ball. There's pressure on the ball.
I know what you're saying, but I don't see that as a knock-on. I'm sorry. He's trying his best to keep hold of that ball with all hands and arms all around it.
Barry, how can it not be a knock-on if he's dropped it out?
Because there's players in Warrington shirts tugging at the ball.
Well, they're entitled to wrap up the ball, aren't they?
Not wrapping up the ball, tugging the ball, pulling it away from his grasp.
Harvey Levette, as he's trying to take Thompson to ground, he's clamped the ball, he's trying to spin round, trying to make sure that Thompson doesn't get the ball down. And
well, I think it's just a loose carry, isn't it, Stuart? Just simple.
I would call it a loose carry and carry on with the play of the ball.
Well, we know it's a no try.
Well, it was never going to be...
Knock on to 20.
Never going to be a try.
And it's a knock on.
I agree with that call. No, like Harvey Levette, he's got to try everything to prevent the big man Luke Thompson going over.
Well, we saw Ben Murdoch-Masilla leave the scene not too long ago. I think, Bill, you've got some news on him.
Well, Eddie, he's back out there for Warrington, which is a pretty remarkable turnaround for Ben Murdoch-Masilla, because he hobbled off the field in a lot of pain. It turned out to be a really nasty gash on his left knee, which is now all bandaged up, heavy strapping on that, and he's moving a lot better than he was when he came off the field. And for this last 12 minutes or so, his presence, there he goes, is a big boost for Warrington.
It is indeed. It's a big boost for him as well, as he attempts to prove his fitness ahead of next week. This is Cooper. He has been off the field now, Mike Cooper, but he's put in a fantastic stint. Brown to Roberts, short ball. No way through for Jack Hughes. Here's Philbin, now it's Hill. Warrington suddenly get the sniff of a chance. Darrell Clark comes to Roberts, he stabs the kick through. Oh, knock on by Makinson, and then a knock on by the Warrington man Toby King.
Time off, we're on 0 tackle. Got no try. Taken for a knock on and pull back on the Warrington player. Yeah, taken for a knock on.
Well, I think we know it's a knock on, and then he wants to see if there was a pullback on the Warrington player, on Toby King.
Yeah, again, it's probably looking for a restart here in a try-scoring situation. We've got the people on the right-hand side who chase the ball. They're all onside. I think we know there's a knock-on here from Mark Percival, and it's after this. So we know there's a knock-on there. So if we need a restart from there, it'll be a Warrington scrum, head and feed.
Is there a tuck from Toby King on Mark Percival as he's catching that ball?
I think it's probably after that the pullback that he's looking for, Mark Percival on Toby King. Oh yes, you can see, well spotted, Terry. Toby King's pulling the shirt of Mark Percival. So anything after that, I think we'll forget about. We'll see the result here being a penalty.
A penalty to Sellers.
Yeah.
But we know it's a no try, and because he's gone to the video referee, we have to do all this. There we go. And now it's a question of how we restart the game. Head and feed with the scrum to Warrington. So they've not spotted your shirt tug, Terence.
Well, Mark Percival, well, he was hoping that was going to be ruled as a penalty. Little tug back there from Toby King. So another set here. Seen when Ben Murdoch-Masilla was going, when he come back onto the pitch, he's been lining up against Danny Richardson. I think we're going to try and see Kevin Brown giving a nice early ball to Ben Murdoch-Masilla as soon as he can.
Brown to Hill. Here come Warrington then. Important set of 6 for them. 10.5 minutes to go. The score's locked up at 12 apiece. Clark gets it away to Roberts. Roberts then finds Ratchford. Ratchford is tackled by Lomax. Clark waits again. Philbin. Saints gritting their teeth in attack. Warrington looking for a little chink in the armour. It's with Clark now. Here is Cooper. Cooper then finds Brown. Brown to Murdoch-Masilla. He tried to run over the top of Richardson, but there were reinforcements there behind him. Ratchford into centre field to Brown. Brown then gets it away to Cooper. Cooper offloads to Darrell Clark. Saints defensive line stands firm as Chris Hill takes it forward. Are they looking for a one-pointer here? Are they looking for a one-pointer here with Roberts? Well, they are. It's charged down. The ball's bouncing everywhere. And they will get a goal line dropout, will Warrington. It was a great charge down. And the ball just spun away, but more pressure on the Saints line.
Well, haven't they defended well? Well, haven't both sides defended well? And was it James Roby spotted that play, knew exactly where Tyrone Roberts was. He's the man who called the play, and Steve Price knows that his side have got another set of 6 here, but they've got to work really hard to break down a team that contains that man.
Some good stuff on both sides of the ball. St Helens for getting up and putting pressure on Warrington, but the reaction from Toby King and Josh Charnley, if they're not in their position, then Regan Grace picks that ball up and gets himself into safety.
So here now comes Charnley. We've got 10 minutes to go, or well, actually 9 minutes to go. Here goes Jack Hughes. It's with Clark. Roberts. Brown. Goodwin. It's opened up for Goodwin. Little flick pass off the knees and feet of Lynham, and Regan Grace, I think, bundled the ball over the line into touch. He wasn't happy. Ben Barber it is. Wasn't happy, and Tom Lynham's having none of it. Well, they want to be careful here because Ben Barber's underneath all that, and he was nearly getting bent double by Lynham. And there's some cheerleaders involved as well.
Do you know, when I see this, it annoys me. Players come running in. I think that they start to take liberties, knowing that they're not going to be punched. They start pushing.
There were some punches thrown, Terry. I think there were some punches thrown at the back.
Well, a spectator involved as well, and we can do without that. We really can do without that.
Well, to see how it all starts in the first place.
Well, this is something for James Charles to sort out. Nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with that either. What happens here with Ben Barber, Tom Lynham? Well, there's obviously some words said, and then we're coming together. A couple of Warrington players there, then everyone comes running in. Let's say pushing and shoving.
And then, well, the St Helens fan then comes in. Well, we see exactly who he is.
Well, he's a brave man doing that to Ben Murdoch-Masilla, isn't he?
Well, he's not brave. Yeah. Terry, he's daft, really.
Well,
just watch Chris. Shouldn't get involved with things like that.
Chris, walk away. Right, guys, Ben, James, take your players
James
over that line.
just trying to control this.
I want your players over the goal line. Get them back.
How do we
Well, there's a bit of a schmozzle to sort out here, Stuart.
Well, to be honest, there isn't a great deal that's gone on. You know, we may well end up with a scrum, the original decision. There's a lot of pushing and shoving going on, and obviously a lot of verbals going on.
Yeah. But isn't the ball passed backwards by Goodwin, kicked forward then by Lynham? Does the ball not go to play from St Helens?
Yes, I think it'll be a Warrington scrum.
Yeah. Anything else, Gareth? Yeah. They came together. Yeah, he's speaking to you. Yeah. Anything else, Jack? No. All right.
Captains, guys.
Chris. James.
No, he wants the two skippers. And I wonder what he's going to say to them.
Well, no. The first thing, the ball goes in off your player into touch. So it's a scrum. What we don't need is all those players rushing in. All right. The whistle's got. Listen, the whistle's gone. You don't help matters either, Chris. All right. You need to get a grip with Kevin Brown. And the same goes for Danny Richardson. All right. If you can't do, listen. If you can't do that, I'll get a grip.
Well, Ben's not going to get done.
It's a scrum. It's a scrum down.
So just to summarise there, because the winger Tom Lynham carried on the tackle with Ben Barber, those two players came together. But while all the players were collected, Danny Richardson and the old stager Kevin Brown start having a go at one another just out the back here. Danny Richardson, Kevin Brown. That could have potentially sparked off another little fracas.
Well, Kevin Brown was finger-wagging at Danny Richardson.
I think the next 7.5 minutes are massive for the season, because whoever wins today goes into the semi-final on an emotional high. This is massive, Eddie, now, in the context of 2018.
And here is Philbin. And Warrington looking to go into the semi-final on the back of a win, and into the playoffs that follow on the back of a victory against the league leaders. St Helens, can they show the mettle of a maybe champion team? Murdoch-Masilla. Plays the ball. Brown. Cooper gets the ball away. It's untidy. It's knocked on by the Saints. It's knocked on, I think. It is.
Back to one, that's it. Dangerous. Yeah, they are 90 metres away from the line. But you want as many chances and cracks at the opposition's line as you can.
Well, it's all going on, isn't it, at St Helens, and it's about time, I think, that we invited your votes for the man of the match. And here are the candidates tonight, and I don't think you can argue with any of those. Mark Percival and Johnny Lomax of St Helens, Chris Hill, Mike Cooper of Warrington. You make your votes count on the Our League app on your mobiles and other devices.
Well, the Warrington coach has just made a big decision. He brought a new player on number 15. He won't feature as the man of the match, but he might have an outcome in this game because he's going to be in and around the action now. Deck Patton, seen behind the play of the ball.
Well, there he is with 15 on his back, fresh legs. And Patton fires the ball to Brown. Here is Murdoch-Masilla. Forward. Forward pass. Saints survive.
Well, lose that ball, lose that run, and that man, Ben Murdoch-Masilla. That's what they were after. When he first came on, Ben Murdoch-Masilla, he was on the right-hand side, as there's another coming together by LMS and Chris Hill.
Two heads came together then, Hill and McCarthy Scarsbrook.
Well, it's a team that goes on to win this game.
Might have been a little bit of language that you could have heard then. If so, we apologise.
The team that goes on to win this game is the one that just controls their emotions. It's a good challenge on Kevin Brown. He forces him into passing that ball. I think it's Dominic Peru who jams in and wedges in.
And there you go. And the good side to LMS is if he's on your side. He generates that enthusiasm, he celebrates everything, but if you're on the opposite side, that just rankles with you just a little bit. And Chris Hill, protective of his side, he's saying, hey, just wind your neck in a minute.
Both of you.
No, not me, him, he's not talking.
Yes. And what I'm saying is, calm yourself down. Yeah, that's right.
Well, calm yourselves down with 5 minutes of the game to go, and the score's locked at 12 apiece. Two fierce local rivals, both of them looking for the edge as we approach the business end of the 2018 season. Well, we had a couple of draws, didn't we?
The thing that Saints go, this is where they're going to go. Over again to that left edge. Who's the man that they're going to look to? Mark Percival, Johnny Lomax, Ben Barber around that side.
Here goes Thompson. It's been a right old battle. Here's McCarthy Scarsbrook, gets the ball away nicely to Lomax. Lomax gets away from a couple and finds Mark Percival. And Percival cuts in field and beats 3-4. Can't get away from Kevin Brown, though. He's stuck to him like glue. Here goes Roby. Saints looking to win it here. That's good defence, though, for the Warrington players to reflect on, because they're 50 metres away. It can't possibly be a drop goal attempt. There is, though, but it wasn't the best from Richardson.
Turnover, accidental offside. Turnover.
And it's a turnover on halfway. It was accidental offside against the Saints, so this gives Warrington an almighty chance.
Well, good pressure again from Warrington. Chris Hill is the man. The ball's kicked forward, comes off a Saints player who stood in front. I think it was Luke Douglas.
So it's Mark Percival, I think it was, that he hit it into.
It was the number 14, Luke Douglas.
Well, there's a 4 on the back.
That's the accidental offside, hitting it into a man in front of him.
Here come Warrington then. Deck Patton, it's their chance now. And surely, with less than 3 minutes remaining, they'll be looking for Roberts for the drop goal. He's positioned for it now. Oh, it's not the best kick. They have to go wide to Raxford. They're looking then for the try now with Raxford. He'll bring it back at the middle. Roberts has dropped back again. Here they go. Back it comes to Roberts. That's better. Drop goal attempt. Oh, he's missed it by a mile.
The two players though, Ben Barber and John Wilkin, they shoot the line. They get in front of him, do enough to put him off, as well as those Saints fans behind the sticks.
Well, no wonder they look for Tyrone Roberts. He got a drop goal in the win at Leeds. He got a drop goal in the cup win against Wigan.
His best opportunity was the first one, but the pass was down near his ankle. He had to find an offload to the fullback Ratchford. Now, can Saints get near enough to the post for those players to have a crack?
Well, it's a 7-tackle restart. Roberts missed one against Wigan, and Wigan went up the other end of the field and pinched the match with a 13-12 not long ago.
That game deserved a draw. This game deserves a draw.
Well, don't tell that to St Helens or Warrington, because Saints are inching toward, and here is Richardson with the attempt. He's got it up in the air. He might have got this. No, he hasn't.
And you can tell by the Warrington fans behind the sticks, the fans on the right-hand side put their hands up straight away as soon as that ball was kicked from Richardson. This is probably the last set of 6 that Steve Price will have. They've got 7 players here.
7-tackle restart again. They might. Oh, Bryson Goodwin on a little charge. Almost up to halfway. Patton will have a run now. He'll then give it to Lynham. Morgan's there with Richardson. They're 40 metres out. They've got 1 minute remaining. They're going to drive it through down the middle here by Cooper once again. They're inching closer. They've still got tackles in the bag. They give it to Chris Hill. It's a wonderful run. Where's Tyrone Roberts? It's Stephen Ratchford now back in the pocket. Oh, he's gone for it himself. Here is Patton. Patton tackled by Peyroux. He's given it to Clark. Clark then gets it back to Ratchford. Awful pass. Ratchford a drop goal. Oh!
Wow.
But it hardly got off the ground.
Well, look at
and another 7-tackle restart.
Good pressure again from Saints in defence, from Warrington in attack, and so this game's been exceptional, hasn't it?
With 10 seconds remaining, I think we're going to have another draw live on Sky Sports. Draws in 2. Oh, hang on. Head-high shot. 2 points, says Justin Holbrook. Well, if Danny Richardson manages to kick this, he'll have to do it from 55 metres out.
Well, there's the shot from Ben Marcella on Luke Thompson.
Where the initial contact was.
Initial contact straight into the mush of Luke Thompson.
Now that, well, Sean Long has kicked a few in his time. Has Danny Richardson got it in him to kick this 50 metres and win the match for St Helens? You could not have a more dramatic end than this.
He has the composure, he has the confidence.
Well, he had a go at the drop goal to Barry a few moments ago. Up it went. Up it went. Yeah, he missed it. He missed it.
But he's the player that wants to step forward in those moments. I can always remember talking to the great Kevin Sinfield, who was an impeccable goal kicker in one of those tight, close games that we were involved in. And I asked him, were you nervous when you were approaching the ball? Did you feel the pressure? And he said, no, Barry, that's what I train for. This is what Danny Richardson hopes and wants in his control. Give me the ball. Has he got the skill set? We'll wait and see.
We will wait and see. This to extend the St Helens winning run to 14 and 12 in Super League. Cometh the hour, cometh the man. Super League's first Centurion goal kicker this year. Super League's top goal kicker this year. This to win the match. It's on its way. He has kicked it. He has kicked it. Danny Richardson has done a Sean Long. Danny Richardson has yet again broken Warrington's hearts in the last seconds of the match with the full-time siren sounded. Warrington go home beaten. St Helens, courtesy of this boomer from Danny Richardson, wins the match. And that's what it means to the fans, and this is what it means to the players.
All the extra hours on the training field for that moment, and I think he's really come of age, obviously this year, but from that moment, to keep his calm in that situation, and you've got to feel sorry for Warrington. Remember, Josh Woods, the 1 point that they knocked over against Chris Hill and his teammates at the DW Stadium. Then right on the bell, Danny Richardson steps up, who was quite quiet by his standards in the first half, but when it mattered, he knocks over those vital points.
Well, we're talking about goals, we're talking about drop goals, we're talking about missed opportunities on both sides. Look at what it means to Danny Richardson. He knew that was going to be the kick of his life. 101 now for the season. And as I say, we talk about goals, we talk about one-pointers. This sport is all about scoring tries. And Saints scored 2 tries to 1. On that basis, perhaps,
but this is
they deserve the win.
It is a massive result for St Helens. They didn't play well, and I'm going to go back to the notes that I wrote before we kicked this game off. Can Warrington Wolves aim up? Will they aim up on the big occasion? Well, in my opinion, yes, they have aimed up. They haven't done enough to get the victory, but if you contrast it to March, 30 points to 12, they've come on leaps and bounds.
Well, they have made progress. There's no doubt about that at all. But it could mean, if the results go against them over this weekend, they don't finish second, they finish 4th after 23 rounds. We shall see. Let's tell you who the Betfred Super League man of the match is tonight, and there he is, Johnny Lomax with Bill.
Johnny, there you go. Congratulations on a man of the match performance. What a match. I mean, at Saints, you're used to winning at the bell, but that is leaving it late.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, credit to both sides really. You know, it was a great game. Warrington came out firing. We managed to weather the storm eventually, and we managed to get our foot back in the game. But you know, at the end of the day, it's got to be a winner and a loser, I suppose. And it's a fantastic game, and you know, a great spectacle for everybody involved and everybody watching.
Did you have every confidence in Danny Richardson when he lined up that kick?
Danny's a confident lad, you know. He practices kicking all the time, works real hard on it, and you know, if anyone was going to slot it, it'd be him. And you know, fair play to him. That was nerves of steel and an outstanding strike, you know, to bring the game home like that.
I think a lot of people thought 2 teams a week before a cup semi-final, maybe there wouldn't be the intensity. Mine's elsewhere. Never a chance when it's Warrington.
Oh no, definitely. You know, as I said earlier, at the end of the day, it was just a great spectacle for everyone involved, and you know, it's a shame. Like I said, there had to be a loser. And you know, you've got to, as well with games coming next week, thick and fast. You've got to keep trying to build that momentum, and you know, that's what we try and do. We just try and take things week by week and keep trying to roll out performances.
Johnny, well done. Man of the match performance, a check as well. Where's that going to?
I'd like it to go to the Run with George Foundation again, closely linked to all day. That'd be great.
Johnny Lomax, man of the match, thanks. Mike Cooper, a man of the match nominee as well, pushed Johnny very close in the vote. What heartbreaking way to lose a game that you put a massive effort in. Probably the best defensive performance you've given this season.
Yeah, there's been too many of them games, hasn't there, between Warrington and Saints over the years, and I've been a part of many of them, so I suppose it's a great spectacle for everyone to watch at home, but a bit of a game of 2 hours really. I thought we were dominant in the first half, and in the second half it was all Saints, but we had enough chances to win that game in the end, and put it right for next week.
And you were caught cold right at the start of the second half as well, weren't you?
Yeah, it's disappointing. You know, it's a long break. Could be in a Sky game, and there's no excuse. So, no, full credit to Saints, the champion side, on top of the league for a reason.
But I mean, we've seen Warrington showing real defensive resolve tonight. Maybe, you know, there was a time maybe you wouldn't have thought of that.
We've always been a fantastic attacking side, and one of the main things that Steve Price wanted to bring in at the start of the year was defence, and that's our DNA, and I think we showed that in abundance. You know, there was a lot of repeat sets in the first half. We had to really dig deep, and you know, I think he'd be pleased, although disappointed.
Mike, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, cheers.
Justin Holbrook is the Saints coach, up out of his seat as that ball sailed towards the post. Was there ever any doubt?
Oh, well, yeah, but what a great kick, you know, and really happy to win that game, you know, against a quality opposition like Warrington. Well coached, came with a certain style of play tonight against us, which was hard to watch, but full credit to our players. To find a way to win that game is you know, I take my hat off to our group. It was fantastic.
you say that they made life hard for you. You can't really expect anything else when you're 13 games unbeaten. They're not going to lie down.
No, absolutely. That's full, as I said, full credit to Warrington. We know how good a side they are, and we probably got caught off guard in that first half. They come at us harder than well, for some reason we expected. And but as I said, I'm really happy to hang in there the way we did and finish. It was a high quality finish.
Great game. Have you seen something else about your side tonight?
Yeah, you know, you got to win all different ways, and tonight was a real roll your sleeves up and hang in there and do your best. And yeah, as I said, really happy against a good opposition.
Thanks very much, Justin.
Thanks, Bill.
Finally, Steve Price, and massive effort from your Warrington side, Steve. So to lose it on the bell, gosh, that must be frustrating.
I'm really proud of the boys. I thought it was a cracking game of footy. It was a tough game. Two quality teams going at it, and had our chances there. The last couple of sets, I think we had 3 field goal attempts. But yeah, what do you say to that?
Defensively, it was an epic performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. They're a very good football team. They are where they are for a reason, and we had a lot of defending our try line, especially in that block just before half time there, and that little bit of that block in that second half. And I was really proud of the guys tonight. It was a terrific effort, and we can take a lot out of that performance.
First sight to nil Saints for the first half this season. Nobody's done that to them this season.
Yeah, well, we
not much consolation.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter now, but as I said, we had our chances to win the game there, and we'll take a lot of positivity out of that.
Steve, thanks.
Thanks.
Finally, Danny Richardson, the man who sealed it. Never any doubts, and I think that's your 100th of the season.
Oh, Sam, well, even better then. Get to the 100 on that one. So, yeah, no, it's good. We working hard all game, and Warrington come with a game plan, and they was allowed to get away with some of the things that they were doing, and we sort of fell into a trap, tried to outplay him, and we got in at half time, just back to basics, and felt like we controlled most of the second half. By the 15 minutes down there was a bit of chaos, and we've been promoting all week that it's down to the wire was the catchphrase, and I don't think you can get any more down to the wire.
It certainly was.
So
when they threw the ball, brought the kicking tee out, and you looked and thought, that's quite a long way. Was there ever any doubt?
Nah, not a chance. Knew it was sailing over.
Wind at your back?
Yeah, well, only a slight breeze, to be fair. No, to be fair, it was a big kick, and my job is I've just got to put it over, and luckily I did. So
you've had to wait for your chance. You've taken it this season. You must be very pleased with the way it's gone for you.
Yeah, I am. Obviously it's been a good year. I've played in every game, and we've been winning as a team. So can't ask for much more than that. But nothing's won yet, and we just got to keep going. So
well done tonight.
Cheers, nice one.
Well, it has been a brilliant year for Danny Richardson on an individual level, and because of his cannon-like boot after the whistle, St Helens take the 2 competition points and take the game here as round 23 of the Betfred Super League got up and running at a totally wicked stadium in St Helens that was, well, I suppose, transfixed by what was a pulsating 80 minutes of Super League action. I left John Wells at half-time with the Warrington Wolves leading 8-0. John, you've looked long and hard, and you've ultimately come up with a game breaker.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Well, there's obviously just one moment in the game, and I love that piece, just a slight breeze behind my back. But St Helens, I thought, worked hard and worked smart to get themselves back into contention. A 6-minute period. We picked this up on the 58th minute, and it's Percival came up with a try-saving effort, stealing the ball off Charnley. Down the other end of the field, Peyru with that extra effort again from the boot of Danny Richardson. And that all paved the way, didn't it? And that major shift in momentum in the game for what ended up being Johnny Lomax's try on the 64th minute. Just 16 minutes left in the game. And as I said, the majority of this, as we spoke about at half-time, Brian, was all about Warrington. I thought they did come with a game plan. I thought they executed that excellently for the most part of the game. Westwood, Mike Cooper did not deserve to be on the losing side. But look, it deserves a play, doesn't it? First of all, don't forget the other end of the field. Darryl Clark's fired back, and look at the pressure put on there by Lomax, and then from Wilkie on the outside to Scupper. I think the third opportunity, 4 or 5 field goal attempts before the young man with the cannon of a boot, as you said, Brian, stepped up and nailed one from 55 metres. It's Roy the Rover stuff, isn't it? And what a pulsating end to what has been a great encounter.
I had a strange feel to it down here touch side, John. We're going to touch on that in a second. St Helens, though, confirmed now top of the table after 23 rounds, and they close in on the league leader shield. They may secure that in the next couple of weeks. Warrington Wolves stay in third, but Castleford Tigers have a chance to jump them this weekend. Right. You join us pitchside here at the Totally Wicked Stadium. I'm joined by Phil Clark. We were down here, Phil, as that kick was being lined up by Danny Richardson. I want to talk to you about a few things. I mean, the reaction in the stadium when it went over, and the reaction from the Warrington Wolves players, who obviously came here today trying to prove a point, washing that defeat to St Helens earlier this year out of their system. They were crestfallen at the end.
Well, firstly, just go back to Danny Richardson. About 30 years ago in rugby league, there was a player called Joe Lydon who would come up with drop goals and conversions like that when the pressure's on. And Danny Richardson seems to be the modern-day version of that, really. When the pressure was on, he could provide it. But I think what's interesting now for the Warrington coach to talk about the reaction of his team. Teams very often have recovery sessions the day after a game. St Helens don't need one. Their recovery was running to the other end to their supporters. They were energised by that kick. And as you say, Warrington now, they need to, I think, dismiss this result and say, listen, we'll win some, we'll lose some. That was close enough for us, because otherwise, if that stays with them for a long time here, then this could be a hangover that goes on for weeks.
Well, I said to you beforehand, would there be psychological baggage if they didn't win? And I was referring to a heavy defeat. I think they can look at this game, look at their performance against St Helens and said, on our day, we can absolutely match the Saints.
I would agree, but do you know what I think happens? When you lose close games, you tend to feel more so than a normal game. You tend to reflect on things, maybe agonise over some of the decisions. They've already made reference to the fact that they had 3 drop goal attempts and couldn't convert any of those. So maybe I don't know whether Mike Cooper in his post-match conference was disappointed with the fact that they didn't nail one of those drop goals. They did everything right, but win.
I want to talk to you about something Justin Holbrook said in his post-match interview with Bill Arthur. He said, Wolves came here with a certain style. It was hard to watch. Decipher that for us.
I'm guessing what he was referring to, the fact that his team just stayed in the centre of the field. They ran hard and strong. There wasn't a lot of passing, not a lot of rugby or entertainment, but they certainly did run over the top of
St Helens. The first try they scored came from moving the ball side to side, back and forward.
It did, and then an offload. So maybe some of the emotion in the event may be clouding some of his opinion and judgment on how exactly they played. But there are 2 great teams, and if that was a preview for a grand final, well, I think everybody in this country who follows this sport will be very happy indeed.
They certainly can't feel sorry for themselves for too long, because they slip into a Challenge Cup weekend next weekend. Both of them, of course, in action. St Helens against the Catalan Dragons, Warrington against Leeds, and then they'll back to and they will meet again in the Super 8s. And no doubt, Phil, that Warrington have now got motivation again if they need it when they do face Saints.
Well, they've got close, haven't they? Far closer than they did last time, and they are a good side. You know, I think that we'll see them at some stage. They've got closer. Whether they're good enough, and again, I've talked about it in commentary, those last few minutes, the hangover and effect of that kick from Richardson could well determine whether Warrington have got the mental strength and resilience to bounce back. We'll find out now.
We certainly will. Well, congratulations to St Helens. 12 consecutive Super League wins now for Justin Holbrook's side, and they move on to a Challenge Cup semi-final. For Steve Price and the Warrington Wolves, well, they came here, big following, big crowd, and his side, he said, we needed to aim up. We're a different side than lost to St Helens earlier this year, and I think over 80 minutes of Betfred Super League action, they absolutely proved that. Okay, coming up next on Main Event, the team are in London ahead of the big fight on the weekend. Ringside, the countdown is coming up next on Sky Sports Main Event and Sky Sports Action. All looking forward to Dillian White, Joseph Parker. All right, we have got a masterclass coming up with the Huddersfield Giants, Jermaine McGilvery. If you haven't seen any of those, they are well worth the watch, and of course available online. That's coming up next on Sky Sports Arena. And tomorrow we are in Kingston upon Hull. It's FC Hull Kingston Rovers. Forget about a dead rubber. This is a game both of these sides will be doing their very best to come out on top in. They've met twice this year. They've both gone to Hull FC so far. 7:30 p.m. on Sky Sports Arena. And after that, we have a masterclass with Scott Taylor, who has just signed a new contract with the Black and Whites. 10:30 p.m. Sky Sports Arena.